Alright, what's going on, everyone? I've been thinking about doing this for a little while now, and I actually had a request for it, I think today or yesterday. So basically what I'm going to do is show you show you my workflow for creating YouTube videos. It's not going to be extremely detailed. However, if you want to dig into some of the more gritty, detailed stuff, take a look at my GamingStylez.com website. I do have I think it's like a 7-part series or a series of articles on video capture. So what I don't cover in this video, you can probably read about it on my website. So I have all kinds of software running right now that I'm trying to record this with, so hopefully it works out okay. I also don't have much of a script for this, so I'm just kind of gonna wing it, and hopefully it makes sense. If not, at least I tried. Okay, so the first thing we need is Dxtory. You can get that at Dxtory.com. It's probably $25–30, I think. I prefer this to Fraps for sure. It just has a lot more options and it works a little better. Basically, the things you have to configure in this is this little tab here. I think it's called the folder tab. Basically, it wants to know where you want to record your videos to. So you'll have to click Add Folder. You'll tell it, like I have D movies, F movies, G movies, C movies. These are all different hard drives that I can record movies to. So basically, you add them. You click the little benchmark icon, and then it will do a write test to this folder and tell you how fast that hard drive is. It kind of helps it to figure out which drives it has to give priority to when it's writing the video file. And as you can see, this one's a solid state drive, so it's considerably faster than the other ones. But I don't use it because it doesn't have enough hard drive space. Other than that, you can change your hotkeys here. I think I changed mine. Either way, mine's F12 for movie capture. I don't usually use screenshot. This is where you adjust your movie settings. Set your frame rate to 30 frames a second. The output section here, if you want to actually create a video on your hard drive, you have to check file output. If you're doing live streaming, if you check direct show output, then Dxtory will show up in Adobe Flash Media Live Encoder or whatever it's called, and that will allow you to stream the output of Dxtory directly to Ustream or Twitch.tv or whatever service you use. And then here under file format, you can tell it to create one AVI file, or which I do is a raw cap, which basically takes I guess it takes every other frame of the video and writes it to a different hard drive. So if you have 3 hard drives, it will take one frame and write it to the first hard drive, then the next frame to the next hard drive, then the next frame to the next hard drive, and then it will repeat. Basically what this gives you is more speed in writing your video files, which if you use Fraps, you're probably aware of. I don't think Fraps has this feature, but anyway, if you write too much data to your hard drive faster than it can actually write it, then that's when you get lag in your game, because it slows down your game in order to not overwhelm itself with information, if that makes any sense. Probably not, but just use this option if you have more than one hard drive. Under the codec, you can just leave it on Dxtory video codec, but under options, I use YUV410, which is low quality, and I compress it. Now, even though it says low quality, it's still like amazing quality. You're pretty much, even especially for Minecraft, you're not going to notice much difference between high quality and low quality. All this means is that if you use high quality, then your files on your hard drive are exponentially bigger. I've experimented with this and I didn't really see much difference, so I would say stick with low quality and compress your files. If you have all kinds of hard drive speed, but you have a fairly slow processor in your computer, then you can uncheck compress, because basically what this does is it uses your CPU horsepower to compress the video, which makes a smaller file. Therefore, your hard drive can write more information. I don't know if that made sense either, but yeah, it's a pretty technical thing that I'm trying to explain. So if you don't understand it, then just kind of nod and agree, and then continue on. Now under your audio tab, this is where you set up how Dxtory records your audio. So these are your number of channels that you want to have in your video. So you can add and subtract channels with these two buttons here. By default, you'll have one, and it will likely be just set to your speakers. So you want to hit the plus sign, it'll give you another one. So you click on number 2, and you change this to your microphone. And make sure record sound is checked. So basically you end up with 2 audio streams in your video. One audio stream is your speakers, and then your second audio stream is your microphone. This allows you in post-production to change the volumes independently. So if you have to turn up your microphone, you can turn up your microphone without affecting your video game sound, like the main audio stream of your video. Very useful trick. I think that covers most of it. This is your overlay. You can screw on this however you really want to. This is just telling you how the overlay shows up in your game. But yeah, so that's Dxtory in a nutshell. So we just minimize this. And if we start up Minecraft, no, I do not want to update. Now one thing you need to do, I haven't tested this yet, so hopefully it doesn't break my video, but hit F11 to go full screen. And I think everything is still working. So we'll go into single player. Alright, so we're in the game, and as you can see at the top left of the screen, that's our current frame rate. So now we hit F12, and as you can see, we're actually recording at 29-30 frames a second. Now if we just go around to make some audio in the video, just for testing purposes, it's not really going to work very good because I'm basically recording 3 things at once here, but it's actually not doing too bad. I just want to make a quick video that we can actually edit. I think this is good enough. I don't want anything that's going to take too long to render. Alright, so hit F12 again. Hit escape. Save and quit the title. Hit F11 again. And then I'll close Minecraft. Okay, so now we have our raw video captured. It should be spread out across 3 hard drives. And it's saved as like a .raw cap file or something like that, something that you can't actually open. So what we have to do is go back to Dxtory. We hit this little button here, it says raw cap converter, raw cap conv. And as you can see, here's a previous video I recorded, 1 hour and 25 minutes, and it is 123 gigabytes. So they're not real small. Here's the one we just did, 37 seconds, and that 37-second video was 960 megabytes. So you have to have plenty of hard drive space to do 1080p videos of good quality. So we just hit build selected files. You can hit this to build all the files here, but honestly, I'm not even sure what this video is. I think it's one that I've already built and used but didn't delete. But I'm not going to delete it yet because I don't want to screw myself over. So we hit build selected files. You can show the preview if you want. Doesn't really make a difference. Delete. So it wants to delete. Do you want to delete the raw cap files, not the video itself, just the raw cap files? And generally you'll say yes, and then it removes it from this window. I probably said no for this one, that's why it's still there. Sometimes I do that if I'm really scared that I'm going to lose data. So now we're pretty much done with Dxtory. So I have a little shortcut to my folder with all my built videos. Move it over to my other monitor here real quick. And let's see. Open up VirtualDub. Now, the only reason I use VirtualDub is because I find Adobe Premiere does not particularly like the Dxtory codec or the files that it makes. I find probably 1 out of 4 times it will randomly crash Adobe Premiere. So actually I should do this. Okay. So this is the video we just made, 37 seconds, 930 megs. I'll just drag it on top of VirtualDub. Now I was frigging around with VirtualDub earlier, so hopefully it still works. Okay. So here's our video in VirtualDub. So what we want to do, at least what I do anyway, I go up to the audio tab and I change the source audio. So this is our main video game. This would be like Minecraft itself, and then stream 2 would be the microphone audio or the commentary. So I switch over to stream 2 and then I just go File, Save, Wave. These are my old videos. Okay, I'll save that on my desktop. And then I'll go audio, source audio, stream 1. And then, so basically I just switched back to game audio because I want to save the actual video itself now. Now what we do is we switch to fast recompress mode. We don't need to process everything because we're just basically re-encoding the video. So I go fast recompress, go back up to video again, and I go to compression. So I want to select how I want to compress the video. Now this is what I use, UT video codec YUV420. If I remember, I will post a link to it in the description, but it's a free video codec and it's really quick, it's lossless, and Adobe Premiere likes it. Now if you remember previously, the video that I was actually recording in Dxtory was YUV410. So I'm actually going up to 420, which is a little higher quality, but I have to do that because I can't actually go any lower. There is no YUV410 for the UT codec, at least not in my computer. You might be able to get one. So yeah, we have fast recompress, we set our compression, and our audio is set to stream 1. So now we go save as AVI, put it back on my desktop, and save. I have a lot of crap on my desktop. I just moved it over to my other screen for the video. My desktop is generally pretty messy. Now this doesn't take too long, but you can imagine if you had a really long video, it would take quite a long time. It's almost real time. It's taken 29 seconds to do a 37-second video, so it's just a little quicker than real time. Okay, so there we go. We have our audio. Let's see, let's call it audio.wave, video.wave. Usually when I do industrialize, I'll say like IND01 and IND01, so I know that it's from the same session. And one will be like IND01.avi and IND01.wave. So next thing we have to do is load Adobe Audition. You can do the same thing, I think, with Audacity, but I haven't used it, so we'll just drag audio.wave into Audition. Now, with my current setup, I always add, like I have my microphone boost turned off in Windows, so I'll add 10 dB right off the bat to my audio. Now what we have to do is zoom in and find some dead air. And as you can see, we're actually recording. Let's see. Let's just go back here. See, I gotta get rid of this section here that has like a keyboard clicking it or something. That's pretty good. Basically, what we're trying to do is find some dead air so we can cancel it out of the audio. Actually, you know what? I did this backwards. I have to do single band compressor. Just use the voiceover preset and apply. Basically, this amplifies the audio. Just makes the voice stand out a little better. You don't really have to do that. It's just something that I've been experimenting with, and it seems to work pretty good. You might be able to notice that the noise is a little bit louder. That's because it amplified it. So now we go noise reduction process. Now it's telling us we have to capture the noise print. This is the noise that we want to remove from the audio. So I have this selected. This is the noise print that I want to get rid of. Capture noise print. So now this is the noise that it's going to remove from the rest of the audio clip. Now hit select entire file. And sometimes I noticed that this will add a lot of reverb into your audio. It's like a thing that happens once in a while, so out of habit I just kind of flick these numbers back and forth. To me it just seems like it refreshes something in the settings. And I'll hit apply, and it will process the audio file. Now we should have pretty clean audio. And as you can see, we're actually recording at 29-30 frames a second. So it has next to no background noise in the audio file. It's not always perfect, but it works pretty good. So I'll just save this as audio clean.wave. So now we're going to be using this file and this file to actually edit our video. So I'll just load Adobe Premiere. Use this project. This is my standard IndustrialEz project. Usually I have this on my second monitor, but I moved it back in for the purposes of this video. You're welcome. Alright, let's see. There's some old clips here from my previous video. I think I can get rid of this stuff. I think I'm caught up on all my editing, so let's hope so anyway. So just drag this into video. You'll see it generates a peak file. It's basically the graph that it uses to show you the audio in the video. And that usually takes a long time to do too. If you have a really big file, generating the peak file or the peaks or whatever can take a long time. So how I have mine set up, this is my main sequence. Now I'm just going to assume that you have a basic knowledge of video editing. I can't really explain everything because it's a very complicated process. There's a lot of tutorials online that you can find that give you some details and crash course and all this stuff. Basically, I have everything broken into sequences. So I'll have my intro sequence, which is my, geez, I don't even think I've uploaded this episode yet. You might actually see this before an episode airs. But yeah, I have my intro here, which is my entire splash screen, title screen, music, etc. Then my outro is just the same thing without the title screen. And then I have a content, which is where I actually put my gameplay video. I have a track for vocal and 2 tracks for the video game itself. So basically what we do here is we'll take the video and we'll drag it down onto here. It's a very small clip. You can zoom in a little bit. Then we'll take the audio and we'll drag that down there. Now, the good thing about using Dxtory for simultaneously recording your audio and video is that you don't have to worry about lining this stuff up. Now, in the case of me recording this video tutorial, I'm using Sound Recorder to record my microphone, so I had to, type some stuff in the notepad or something beforehand so I could match up my keystrokes with the video on the screen so that I could synchronize my audio. In this case, where everything was recorded at the same time, you basically just have to drag both to the beginning of your timeline and away you go. So if I just go here, hit the spacebar, and as you can see, we're actually recording at 29-30 frames a second. Now if we just go around to make some audio in the video, just for testing purposes, you can see my mouse clicks are lining up with the action on the screen. So now, if I go back to my 1080p main track, this is basically where I put everything together. So I have my content, my intro, and my outro, and then my 1080p main track is where I put all that stuff together. So right here you can see I have my intro track. It basically, you just, like, all these tabs line up with, or they correspond to sequences in here. I have some stuff in here that I don't even use, but you can see there's a content, intro, and outro. So basically, this tab here, the intro, is this file. These are the same thing. So I can edit my intro in here, and then it updates it here. In order to get the intro into a separate sequence, you just have to click it, drag it, and drop it down in here like any other video file. It's pretty straight ahead stuff. Hopefully it is to you. It is to me after I've used it for quite a long time. So as you can see, my previous video, I had about 20 minutes worth, so these hash marks here indicate that there is no data for this section. So basically it should just be a black screen. So what I have to do is I can drag this down. I'll drag it inside of the video, and then I'll drag it back out, because then it stops. It won't let you drag it further than it actually has video. So instead of dragging it back and trying to figure out where to let go, I just drag it all the way into the video, and then I drag it back out until it stops. And then same thing for this. I can drag it until it snaps to the end of that clip, which you can see the arrows right here. That's where it's snapping, and then I click and I don't want to use this one on this icon on this clip. I want to actually go into the middle so I can drag the whole thing. I don't want to resize it, I just want to move it down to the end of this one. So that's basically a layout for a video. And now what I want to do is I should save this, I guess. Just trying to think if I'm going to screw myself over when I do my next actual video. I don't think so. Hopefully not anyway. So we're in the intro. Okay, so basically what I have here, these are my After Effects sequences or projects, whatever you want to call them. I have basically I generally do 3 videos at a time. So I'll have 3 different intro titles here, and as I queue up each video for rendering, I will replace this intro with the next one in the list. That way I can render 3 videos at a time, if that makes sense. So basically, say this would be episode 49, episode 50, episode 51. So when I queue up the video files for rendering, it takes a copy of these sequences or these project or After Effects projects, and it puts it with the video to be rendered. So if I use the same title file for all 3 videos, then all 3 videos would be named episode 49. So basically, every time I do the next video in the sequence, I have to use the next title in the sequence. So that's just why that's like that. So I'll just right click on this and edit original, and it should launch After Effects. There's all kinds of After Effects tutorials online. Basically, I just followed a tutorial to make mine, and then added my own colors, and once you get the basics of it, you can kind of tweak it with different layers and effects. Like, I'm not going to get into After Effects. After Effects is pretty crazy. There's a lot you can do with After Effects. So basically, I'll just go in here and I'll edit the title, and I'll say test video episode 53. Hit enter. And I'll hit save and close. The cool thing about this is that, see, it just changed in real time. The cool thing about using the entire Adobe suite for editing all your stuff is that they talk directly to each other. Like, Premiere can open up After Effects files. Like, this is, an AEP, it's an After Effects file that is actually embedded directly into the timeline in Premiere. So it can read the file natively, and as soon as you update and save it, it automatically refreshes it in your video. And I already have my transitions in here. If I ever have to do a transition, like, I can say I don't know. If I cut this, let's just go, move this over here, somewhere with no audio. So if I cut that there, if you cut near the marker here, it will snap. I mean, I can cut over here, but then you tend to misalign stuff. So I always tend to move this where I want to cut. That way I keep everything perfectly synced up. So now I'll just highlight these and move them over a little bit. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm just trying to show you how to do a cross dissolve. So video transitions dissolve, cross dissolve. Then I'll do another one here. Basically, this is going to fade to black and then fade back in. And then audio transition, I'll do constant power, which constant power is basically a cross dissolve for audio. Then if I hit spacebar, just go around to make some audio in the video, just for testing purposes. That's basically all there is to it. So now I come back to my 1080p main video track. I hope I didn't miss anything. This is not really an in-depth tutorial. It's sort of just to show you how I do it, and you can kind of compare it to how you do it. So I just click in here and I hit Control M. Except it's not doing anything for some reason. Awesome. I've never had this happen before. So let's see. Export. Media. That's what's supposed to pop up when you hit Control M. So I do entire sequence, which is 59 seconds. I have my own preset made for YouTube already. So let's just double check some settings here. We want to export video, export audio. You can see my my settings here. Variable bitrate 2 pass. That is sort of the big secret to my videos. You definitely want to do 2 pass, although it takes twice as long to render the video. So basically what this means is that it'll do 1 pass of the video, just analyze it, see where all the action is, and then the second pass it will actually encode the video using the data from the first pass. So basically that means in places with a lot of motion on the screen, it will use more data, a higher bit rate, which makes everything a little smoother. and it allows you to make smaller files, and yeah. So target bitrate is 8 megabits per second with a maximum of 10. So it can peak up to 10, but it tries to keep 8. And from my research, this is basically what YouTube does for a 1080p video. If your video does not match these settings, when you upload it to YouTube, it will re-encode it down to these settings. So generally it's better to do it at the source instead of having YouTube re-encode your video again, which is going to make it look like crap. Now these might change, they may have already changed, but they tend to work good for me. I use main concept H.264, which comes with Adobe Premiere. I'll put this on the desktop. There's some GoPro stuff I was playing with earlier. So I'll just leave it 1080p main.mp4. And I used to use this, but lately I have not been using it because I haven't really found much of a difference. So yeah, basically I don't use any of this stuff. That's not to say you shouldn't use it, but in my particular scenario it doesn't actually help anything. So I'll hit Q, it will go over to Adobe Media Encoder. Basically it makes a copy of all the files that it needs, and it fires it over here. So at this point, once you get that done, you have your Adobe Media Encoder up with the video queued for encoding. Then you can come back and you can close Adobe Premiere. Because like I said, this does the same thing as the other ones do. It can read Adobe files, Adobe Premiere files, it can read After Effects files. It has no issues with any of that stuff. So once it shows up here, then you can close everything else. So generally what I do is I queue up a few files and then I'll encode my video throughout the night. So I'll hit Start Queue. And it shouldn't take very long, so I'm probably not even going to stop the video here. Time remaining is 8 minutes. Most of the time is going to be spent on my intro. My intro is pretty intense. And you can see it's doing pass 1 of 2 right here. But yeah, I think this is really all there is to it. I mean, there's no sense in waiting for this to finish up. I guess if you, like I said, there's a lot of stuff on GamingStylez.com. So if you head over there and take a look, I think if you go to the menu at the top of the screen, there is a section, I can't remember, it says like articles or video capture or something along those lines, but there's a whole freaking section there that has like 7 or 8 articles on video capture, everything from live streaming to recording video and settings. Some of it was written quite a long time ago, like when I first started, and since then I've gained quite a bit of knowledge. So basically what I've showed you here right now is how I do everything. So I mean, if you read anything different on my website, then it's probably not really applicable, but there might be some things on there that are useful, like that go into some more detail on some of the stuff that I do currently use. And there's quite a bit of stuff there for hardware on live streaming and stuff. So I think when this is done rendering, I will just plaster the finished product up on the end of this video, and you can see how it came out. I wish I had a forum that people could ask questions on, so I guess if you have any questions, then you can post it in the comments. I don't know what the best way for communicating with me with your questions is, because YouTube is kind of hard to use as like a forum. I don't have a forum myself, so you know, you can message me on Twitter or or Facebook. But I guess if you have a question, just put it in the comments on this video, and I will try to answer it. Just try not to ask any uber detailed questions, because you only get so many characters on YouTube. So if you have any long-winded questions, maybe just send me a message on YouTube, I guess. But it would be nice if you can keep it brief to put it in the comments. That way I can answer it publicly, and it might help out some other people. Anyway, I guess that's it. Like I said, I'll put the video at the end, the finished video at the end of this. Well, I guess at the end of this video, and you can see how it turned out. And yeah, if you want to see any more videos like this, then just let me know. And thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. And as you can see, we're actually recording at 29, 30 frames a second. Now if we just go around to make some audio in the video, just for testing purposes, it's not really going to work very good because I'm basically recording 3 things at once here, but it's actually not doing too bad. I just want to make a quick video that we can actually edit. I think this is good enough. I don't want anything that's going to take too long to render.